When was the last time that you did something only for the sake of joy? I struggled to separate work from doing something only because I loved doing it. If something wasn't useful, I wouldn't even think of doing it. But recently, something happened that made me rethink this whole concept. We all need space that is not structured, that is non-logical, a type of space for us to tune into our curiosity and childish joy. If you look at kids, you'll notice that they never think about why they're doing something, because the only thing they care about is that they want to do it. Ultimately, hobbies are supposed to be stress-free, creative and joyful activity that leads us to a more balanced life where there is structured and goal-oriented time. And there is the time when the only thing we care about is our joy, something that will allow us to lose the track of time. I want to share a story of the time when I got to rediscover something that I used to love. This is going to be a story for anyone who's struggling to find time or allow themselves to do the thing that they want to do with their whole heart. Let's first uncover what this irrational thing I fell for is. It's learning Finnish. How did I end up falling in love with a language that is spoken by 5.6 million people only? I was 16 or 17 years old when I found out that some of my favorite music artists were from Finland. I tried to explore a bit of what Finland is like, and inevitably I got to discover the language. And oh my god, I fell in love with it. That was the first time that I tried to learn it because I was sure that I was moving to Finland. I even taught my best friend a useless word for her, but it just sounds so nice. That word is lippuautomaatti, which literally stands for a ticket machine. So I traveled to Finland several times, and it was actually the first place I went to as an adult, right after turning 18. You know, it's an unexplainable connection I had with the country, Helsinki as the city, and just the overall vibe there. When it was the time to choose a university, I applied to one in Helsinki, but deep down I felt that that exact school wasn't the right path for me, and the universe seemed to agree because I did not get in. Instead, I moved to Hungary. Since I was moving to Hungary, I did not need Finnish anymore. However, I tried to get back to studying it several times, but the fact that I did not have a need to speak that language outweighed the desire to learn it. Fast forward, after a few beautiful years in Budapest, I moved back to my hometown with even more doubts about my next steps and the overall direction of my life. Should I go back to Hungary? Should I once again try to move to Finland? I had no idea. Despite not moving to Finland, my desire to learn Finnish was still there. The problem was that I had too many theoretical plans on moving somewhere in Europe, be it Austria, Hungary, Finland, or France. That's when my outlook of doing something only if I really need it became an obstacle. Why would I learn a language if I wasn't moving to a country where this language is spoken? Quite a rational question though. But your hobbies can be irrational. At one point, I had a conversation with my colleague who was learning a completely new language and who was deeply passionate about the language and the culture of the country that language comes from. I asked whether she was going to move there one day, and it turned out that she didn't really see her life there. So it wasn't reason for falling in love with the language and the country itself. That conversation got me thinking, okay, I'm not moving to Finland, but does it mean that I cannot learn the language only for the sake of my love for it? By the time of that conversation, it had been 3 years after moving away from Hungary. I spent almost 3 years in a stagnation while trying to make a choice on where to move next and therefore which language I had to learn. There was one thought that changed my whole perspective on things. It's been 3 years. 3 years of not making a choice. 3 years of barely doing anything to learn languages. How crazy is that? I realized that if I started learning at least one of these languages 3 years ago, I would already reach a certain solid milestone and be able to speak it. I could spend, let's say, 6 months learning each of these languages, and that would lead me somewhere instead of being here in a place where it's me and my desire to learn, but not actually learning anything. That's when I decided to just do it, to pick a language I'm most excited about and just start learning it. And of course, that was Finnish. It doesn't matter that I'm not planning on moving to Finland, at least anytime soon. It doesn't matter that I don't have any Finnish friends left. Why would I be searching for a practical reason to learn the language if the reason for me to learn it is my joy? Hobbies don't necessarily need a reason for their existence in your life. Even more than that, I believe that some hobbies should be, in a way, reasonless. Sometimes we only create more tension when trying to justify the ways that bring us joy. Once again, we need that space for playfulness, curiosity, exploration, joy, and your hobby might be that very space. Think about it. Would the great artists, musicians, painters, writers even exist if we gave space to rationality only? Would your favorite song you cry to exist without us being sometimes irrational? Remember, every day can be the day that you take the first step towards the thing that brings you childish joy. We're gonna see each other very soon. Thank you for watching this video.